And hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Silent Races Shakes Fist at the Stars. Yes, curse you and your millions of year old light. But yes, welcome back, everyone. It's been a while. Oh, and Cander's getting a special banana. Thank you, Cander. Thank you so much.
Quite alright.
He has to make sure to do those live so that he can make me thank him. He just likes the American to grovel at his feet.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, watch out, baby. Here we go. So I'm holding a child, so you will hear some baby noises every once in a while, which is fine. So it's been 4 weeks because last week one of the people in this room had a health issue and could not stream play at full impulse power, and so they said we should probably cancel, and I agreed because if it's not fun, it's not worth playing, right? Exactly, Jirai, newest crew member. And I hope everyone likes the new what's it called? Overlay layout thing I've got going on. I have a chat window. There's a little art window and stuff cycles through there. Most of that is Green Ronin art. There's 2 pieces of character art. If anyone here playing wants to give me their character art, I can put it into the lineup as well. But yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see what happened last time. I think that's right. We found out that we were like this super secret Martian ship last time. Actually, we don't even really know what's going on. All we know is we have a bunch of goodies in the cargo hold that makes Thomas very, very happy.
Indeed.
And that we have the ship is basically ours to do with as we please now, as long as we're making money for the captains whose name I have in my notes, and I am totally looking at them right now.
Carol.
Captain Carol, yes, Carol Lewis. That's right, yes, because Squirrel is very clever. There we go. Yeah. There's my notes. And then we are headed to Tycho, and we all just leveled up. I think.
Are you still on 90?
Okay. Where the heck was I before everything exploded?
We were talking about how we are not knowing exactly what is going on this ship. We know that there are Martian guns and paraphernalia.
Armor and other
Yes.
Martian paraphernalia.
So those are all down in our cargo bay. The captain was like, yeah, I'm eating you. And so we are going somewhere.
Accurate.
Yes, and I think we decided we're going to Tycho Station. And there are, I think, 3 different people that we could talk to, and we have not decided which one exactly.
Yeah, so I believe we're currently en route for Tycho.
Yes.
Is where we ended the last stream.
Yes.
I think there's somebody
okay,
there who
patience.
owes the captain some favours who can do something with the ship.
There are 3 contacts we were given. One was Bennett Watson, the repair yard foreman at Tycho, who the captain knows.
Mm-hmm.
He is a repair yard foreman. He's not the only one. There's Lee Garrett, or Lay Garrett? Lay, whatever. Garrett, who is a broker of cargo, good for smaller vessels, for job contacts. And then there's Alexander Mitchell, which I have written next to my notes, be careful in all capitals. He has shady connections to some belt connections. I'm good at English, but jobs can be lucrative.
Black
Black
market.
Marketeer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, the be careful is essentially the message that Captain Carroll would have provided you. Like, he's helpful, but you got to watch your step.
Yeah, definitely.
That is an accurate, very accurate note to have been made.
Okay. And then the last thing I want to make sure everyone knows is that if you do what I'm doing if you want to know more about this system, you type !Expanse, and the Green Ronin Expanse Collections thing pops up, and you can check that out. and you can actually download the Quick Start for free because they're pretty awesome, and it teaches you how to play. So,
Yep. They are also working on. We are playing on Foundry Virtual Tabletop, and they are actually working on. We're using the one right now for the game that's the general Green Ronin, because they have a number of different types of games: fantasy, modern, the Expanse, and some others. And you can tweak this one to fit what you're doing. But they are working on one that is dedicated specifically for the Expanse. So the visuals will look really neat, and I don't think they've quite launched it yet, but it's definitely out there, and they're going to have some other stuff.
Yeah, they asked us
that they're
not to.
working on.
They asked us not to switch over just yet because I think they're still working on it. So
Yes, but hopefully soon.
soon, TM. Hopefully next session we'll have shinier stuff.
Yes. So, as the ship newly christened the Good News sails through space headed for Tycho Station, you'll have at your current speed, which I believe you had set as just shy of 1G. Hold on.
I thought it was like half a G or something. I don't remember.
I thought it was 0.3.
Yeah.
0.3, yeah, because we have belters on
keep
board.
the belter happy.
It was there we go. There's a nice handy little chart that is provided depending on where you're going and speed, and it kind of settles things out for you. So you will have from your current position where the ship was, you parted ways with the Big Bard, you will have a couple of days of an interlude time before you arrive at Tycho, and then from there we will see what exactly happens. So interludes in the system are basically downtime, given the fact that it can take days, or depending on how fast you're moving, weeks to get from one place to another within the system. You don't have to RP out every single day and check to see what everybody is doing. You can kind of lump all of that together. Primarily, recovering fortune is one of the things that you want to do, given that that is, to some extent, your hit points. How fortunate you are before you take a bullet. You can choose a favored activity to do during an interlude, and I think for this one, since it's just a couple of days, you will probably only have the one activity that you can do, and that would provide you with 10 plus, let's see, what is that chart?
I'm looking up interludes right now. Here we go.
10 plus the level of fortune for every 8 hours of the interlude.
Okay, so let's see. Pursue their interests and goals, recover from the exertions of their adventures, and to handle the routine tasks of life that get pushed aside in the press of encounters and action time. The process for handling interludes is as follows. Okay. Probably should have read this before the stream.
That's okay. This is accurate, real tabletop.
Yeah, exactly. This is the authentic tabletop experience. All right, so... Oh, excuse me, baby. Sliding farther down off my lap. Okay, so basically... each of us gets to pick an activity that we're going to do, and then we figure out how we... Oh, here's the recover expended fortune points. Okay, so an interlude, it goes 10 plus level of fortune per 8 hours. Okay, so the amount of fortune we recover is dependent on how long our interlude is.
Yes, for every 8 hours, as well as since you don't have a fortune level that I'm aware of, I believe that's referring to your actual level, which is now level 2. So every 8 hours you would regain 12 fortune.
Okay.
So that should be more than enough over a 48-hour period.
I assumed it was 10, then in brackets, level plus every 8 hours.
Yeah, our level is 2, so...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be 12 every 8 hours. It would be, 8 hours would be 12, and then 14 would be 16.
Yeah, you're right. I think he's correct. Well, actually, no. There's no brackets. There's no brackets here.
It just says 10 plus level fortune every 8 hours.
Yeah, without
And-
brackets, you put it all together at once. Because well, hang on, no. Without brackets, you multiply first, and then you add. Anyone from Green Ronin in chat?
Well, I think
Either way,
can-
I think it's long enough that we'll recover all of our fortune. Because
yes, we can get some clarification on that. Let me make myself a note. Where are my sticky notes? There we go. And I will get some clarification on that.
all right. So how do we know what our interlude activity our characters like? Is that so we just come up with that basically?
They're in that section starting page 109 through about 111 of the book. There are a couple of listings. Some of them require tests, some of them don't. So you have, if there's an organization of some sort that you're working with that you're attempting to consolidate and like gain some reputation in or advance. There's
I'm
maintenance,
seeing,
'cause
yeah.
The ship will need maintenance, making or fixing things, generally recovering, relating, reputation, researching, training, upkeep, working. I will note that as of right now, the ship doesn't require a lot of maintenance and upkeep, but that is something that needs to be kept in mind because your gear needs to, the ship needs it.
Okay, so I'm looking through all these. So basically, you're just going to go around and ask each of us what we want to be doing during this time, and then if any of us want to roleplay a little bit, we can roleplay a bit during this, and then we can skip ahead to Tycho. Basically, is how I'm seeing it work. Kind of like a
little bit of a montage.
Yeah, kind of like just a shopping session in D&D, where it's like, okay, we don't have to RP every single time we pull out our gold. It's you can RP with other characters or whatever, and then everything else is like, okay, this is what you spent, this is what you got, these are the results, kind of thing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a time skip. Some of these require rolls, some of them don't. Depends on exactly what it is you're attempting to do. So, I guess starting at the top of the list, what does Carter want to do with his couple of days of downtime?
I was going to do some maintenance because as a belter, maintenance is kind of like that's what you do when you're not doing anything else. And I figured included in that might be going through some of the equipment downstairs.
Okay. So are you maintaining the ship, or are you going through to kind of do a full evaluation of the equipment that you have in the cargo?
More maintaining the ship, finding all the holes that some drones put in it and patching them up.
Okay. All right. Well, one thing you do find that because this is also what Rebecca would be up to, kind of going through getting to know the ship more than actual doing maintenance, finding out where things are at. And the ship does not have the best set of tools. Rebecca has quite a few that she brought with her, that it's kind of like her own personal toolkit, but it's not anywhere near what you would normally want as a like for ship repair and ship upkeep. And I don't think this one there's not a roll that needs to be made. You just kind of go through the ship. There are a couple of places where there's some dings or holes in some of the bulkheads. Most of them are pretty superficial, but you're able to identify any of them that could cause some sort of problem and get them patched, get them sealed between you and Rebecca, definitely. So,
Super.
Chester.
Okay, so I believe at the end of last session I had said that I wanted to basically learn from Rebecca some of the engineering stuff and then try and teach her human stuff. So I'm assuming that would be something that would have taken this interlude instead of magically I'm level 2 and now I know engineering in my brain. So
That's fine.
what I'm going to say is I'm going to just kind of be her her gopher. Basically, I'm gonna follow at a respectful distance and help where I can, and listen if she's willing to teach and figure stuff out.
Okay. I think this would probably fall under the relating. So relating only requires time and someone willing to relate to you. Well, willing, yeah. Well, Rebecca is not the most personable person, so but we'll gloss over that one.
I mean, she doesn't have to like me. I'm just asking,
Yes.
please. I need some skills here.
Yep,
And I know she's an NPC, so I mean, we don't have to do any of the RP stuff there.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just looking over there wouldn't be any need to improve the initial attitude, because while she's not the most like social person, she doesn't seem to hate anybody.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a problem. When you like initially ask for some pointers, be like, hey, I'd like to learn a little bit more engineering, she launches into like a description of like some real nitty gritty stuff that you understand maybe one word in six, kind of thing. And she does not pick up on the deer in the headlights look that Chester is giving. And so that's when you just kind of smile and nod and pretend like you understand and start following her around, and you know you're starting to pick up on some of the how and the why of what she's doing, you know, and asking a couple of questions and then trying to glean something out of just the volume of information that she regurgitates at you to answer the question.
All right. I like to think that in there somewhere, I've got while she's doing this, I try to like give her gentle hints on how to actually teach someone, like instead of relying on her to look at my face, because I realize that she just doesn't people at all. I'm like, no, okay, so I don't really understand, and then she basically looks at me and just repeats what she says because she doesn't people. So I just kind of eventually just start following around after attempting a couple of times at helping her to interact better with people, and I just kind of like, all right, she's just Rebecca.
Yeah. I'd say by the end of the 2 days, she would probably seem a little bit more comfortable with you following her around. So at least on that side of things, maybe it's working. We'll have to find out in the long term how Rebecca does with this. But there may have been some back and forth there.
Okay. And the other thing Chester wants to do is he wants to find June at some point, and have a short conversation with her. But one moment, because our kids are all yelling at each other. Excuse me, baby. I will be right back.
No problem. Well, while we wait for Chester and June to have some time to have a conversation, June, do you have anything in particular that you would be looking to do during the couple of days while you sort of turn around and head back to Tycho Station?
The first thing she'd want to do is really get used to the ship and moving around it, because zero-G just makes her really nervous anyway.
Okay.
And so even at just the slightest bit of gravity, she's still very upset. So she'd be working on trying to figure that out.
Okay, I'm back.
Yeah, that's every time you leave, it tries to catch me, and then you come back and it's like, oh, there's somebody here. It gets very loud. Anyway, so yeah, she'd be trying to get basically her sea legs right, and become totally okay with moving around the ship. And then she would probably take time to just check in with everybody every day, just try to get to know them better, and figure out different personality traits.
Okay. Yeah. I think that would be easy enough to do. Again, this is one that I think training would probably fall under, at least for the 0G. So there's not really a role required, but you've got a couple of days of practice under your belt by the time the ship would arrive. And you're probably starting to get a better feel for the rest of the crew a little bit. At least those that might be, open to a little bit of, chat and prying into background and history.
Okay, well, I did want to have a short conversation
and
with June. So
easy enough to do.
So Chester's going to come up like between, maybe he's gone to go get some patches for some of the anti-spall coating inside the ship, and he sees June, or he sees June's room, and so he's just gonna knock on not use the chime, just knock directly onto the metal there.
Come in.
And he walks in and he goes, June, back when things were, come on, give me a second.
Hey.
One second. Buddy. I'm going to mute my microphone, find out exactly what he wants.
No problem.
Nigel would definitely be attempting to do maintenance, but focusing primarily on as many communications or computer systems that might have anything interesting in them.
Okay. Anything in particular you're looking for, or just sort of like settling in to get used to the, just getting used to the system so you're a little more comfortable if you need to go find something?
I would say more to do with exploring and finding out if there's anything in the system that Nigel would find interesting or useful for later. But not knowing that anything's there, it's not like he's out there hunting every nook and cranny. He's looking at all the different little bits and pieces and wondering, oh, I wonder what's over here. And maybe leaving something for somebody who might want to do the same thing.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, just go ahead and do, let's see. It's going to be, what is that? Intelligence technology, I think.
That's an amazing roll from me. It's amazing.
All right, Nigel slipped and banged his head on something on the ladder.
Yeah, not you don't find anything like classified documents keep out kind of, file heading. If there is something hidden, it's hidden quite well. But you have definitely settled in and you know your way around the system a little bit better. You've kind of tweaked some of the settings to fit what you want, just a little bit. So, yeah, that's easy enough to do. Okay. DE, are you back with us? Or are you
yes,
still...
yeah, we're both here now.
Okay.
Okay, so, all right. I just wanted to. Sometimes I say things that aren't consistent with who I want myself to be, and when we were snapping back and forth, I made a joke at your expense while things were kind of crazy, and I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. And he just stares at the floor because he's not good at he's good at people, but he's not good at being wrong.
Well, I appreciate the apology. I want to make sure that you know that I have had absolutely no relations with any of the administration of the Bard, and the implication that you made was not just upsetting to me, but I took offense on their behalf as well. So
I was just repeating a rumor joke that had gone around and I shouldn't have. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. And he just turns around and leaves without even saying goodbye. Just walks out and shuts the door because he's embarrassed.
And this is the guy teaching someone else how to people.
He can people really well when it's not involving him.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I didn't say he was good at it. I didn't say he was good
that's
at
fair.
teaching other people how to people.
That's fair.
The fact that he went and he apologized for wrongdoing is a good people.
That's fair. This is fair. Absolutely. And then, last but certainly not least, Thomas.
Well, after sort of establishing a nest in the pilot seat, configuring all the displays just how he likes, tweaking the sensitivity of all the controls, probably going to go down to the cargo bay and refresh his memory of his basic firearms trainings with rifles.
Okay. That is easy enough to do. There is a case with a rifle, I believe at least one rifle that's already missing, as well as an amount of ammunition.
I don't know. That's strange.
So it's easy enough to locate and find one.
The allegedly missing one, he's also going to sort of, I don't know, find some rags or something you can tie around it, just so to a casual observation, it's not quite as obvious. Oh, look, that's a Martian assault rifle. That's an assault rifle, but you'd have to sort of spend more than a passing glance to immediately recognize it.
Okay, trying to do a little bit of camouflage. What would that be?
I'm just trying to get over the fact that apparently Starfleet is trying to contact us on a priority channel.
I twitch because I actually have an alert on my phone very similar to that one. So my hand instinctively went to my phone before realizing, wait, I put mine not down on vibrate. How is it making noises? So.
Oh man, good times.
Making or fixing, maybe, Squirrel?
Oh, it's more for sort of narrative effect. I don't expect it to have any sort of mechanical.
Oh well, I'm happy to throw a test in there to find out.
What is Thomas's arts and crafts skill?
Well, I was looking for like a straight stealth, and now I'm not seeing. Oh, sleight of hand and stealth. There it is. It's under dexterity. There is actually a crafting focus, so we could go that route. But yeah, I would say like dexterity, stealth, dexterity, sleight of hand. Maybe leaning a little bit into like intelligence, security, or intelligence tactics.
Probably just dexterity. I mean, the only thing. Knowledge doesn't really. No, that doesn't apply. Tactical awareness doesn't apply. Yes, probably just straight dexterity.
If Nigel has to hit his head on the console to find things, I'm pretty sure Thomas has to stab himself with a paintbrush or something.
Yeah, if there is any paint, just sort of painting out the red bits, just so that if he walks into a room carrying it, everyone doesn't go, "Why is he holding a Martian assault rifle?"
Yep. Oh, okay. Yeah, you've done a pretty good job of kind of disguising the silhouettes, changing up some of the colors, and otherwise camouflaging what the weapon looks like.
Excellent. I don't. Hopefully, it may not be relevant this session, but did we come to a final decision as to what qualities the rifles do have?
Yes. Second, while I flip over to the weapons section.
I love this map. It's so pretty.
Yeah, and this is the one that I'm meant I moved to as the game master earlier when we were looking at distances, and I commented on a nice chart off to the side, and I didn't realize that I hadn't actually activated it to move everybody over here.
Yep.
There is the equipment section. I was looking at it earlier.
I like how there's a travel time at 12G, like anyone can survive more than like a few minutes at 12G.
I mean, the ship will get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose if you have one of those breathable fluid ones, and you have the sort of the very top of the line equipment.
That's a little ahead of where we are. The breathable fluid doesn't come along for a little bit now, Kander.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm just saying hypothetically. Because
Hypothetically.
this is for the whole system. If you see what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, you would find that they are automatic. I thought there was some other general qualities, and now I'm not seeing them.
They fire bullets.
Yes, they do. But yeah, they are automatic. And you do find that while not all of the ammunition is, you would have the option of loading armor piercing.
Okey-dokey.
There is not much of that, though. I'm not going to give you a specific number because that just turns this into bookkeeping. But that is something that is a very limited resource.
Indeed.
But you do have some.
We do have grenades, Freaky. We do.
There very well might be a box or two of grenades.
I found the general qualities. It's on page 66 and then 67.
66 and 67. Thank you. I mean, none of them are like broken or damaged or anything like that. They are very much straight out of a Martian armory.
Nice.
Let's see. I would probably give them durable. Because let's be honest, even if the MCRN, they're some of their rounds don't penetrate armor the way that they might expect them to.
That's not canon. That was a simulation. That's not canon.
I mean, it still happened somewhere, somehow.
Bang.
Yeah. But I would say, while it doesn't have a specific flaw for this, as identified, they are somewhat recognizable as they are. So kind of like the ship qualities, there's one that is, your ship is very recognizable. These would carry that as well. So it definitely, you've negated that with what you've done, but it is something to keep in mind when you carry them.
And there's also more ranged weapon qualities it can have on page... What is
like
this?
75?
75, yeah.
Yeah, that's where I originally was.
Okay. Yeah. And for chat, if you're wondering why we're not pulling up the rules so you can read along too, you have to buy the rule book to look at it. And while I don't think Green Rowan would mind if we showed a snippet or two, I don't want to just be scrolling through the pages on live stream. I feel like that's a little disrespectful and bordering on, a piracy.
Yeah.
So. All right, so there's some AP rounds for it.
Yes, you do have an amount of those. There are some grenades. Again, that would be a limited resource. You essentially have a relatively well-equipped, if somewhat small, MCRN, armory, or the contents thereof, that you're packing around. In case you get excitable as to options.
Oh boy.
there you go. As time winds down, you approach Tycho Station, and you are contacted by their flight control. Well, let's see. You are broadcasting now a signature, so a call would come through. Good news. This is Tycho Station. Please state your business.
I guess that's me. Hello, Tycho Station. We're just looking to dock, and we are looking for just a place to be for a little bit, if that is okay. We also need some repairs done to our ship.
Good news. Stand by.
Standing by.
Quiet for a minute as you get the Expanse version of Hold Music over the line. Yeah. It's a song that you swear you recognize, but you can't quite place it because they've had to change it just enough. And after a few moments, which those of you that have been involved, it's not unusual for there to be a little bit of a wait while they find, a berth for a ship as they come in. So none of this is overly suspicious at all. And then the voice comes back. Good news. Please make your way to berth B718.
Thank you. B718.
And the line will click off.
All right. So I guess B718 is our destination, Thomas.
Roger that. And obviously I start taking the ship in.
Chester shouts up because I'm in my mind I'm still buckled down. I went back up to my galley seat, and I kind of shout up through the hole there, and Chester says, "And make sure you don't put the dead body lock to their lock. Use the other one."
I probably should have mentioned that we had dead bodies on board, huh?
I'm maybe
Taking away my phone.
Hey, out of character, what about that dude that was half dead that we were supposed to take with us that we
Still got
didn't
him.
mention?
Oh crap, we forgot about him.
He's still there.
He's
He's
on
still
board.
unconscious.
He's unconscious.
We just
Can
nobody
we-
cared to take care of him while we were on.
I
our-
completely forgot he was on board.
He's on the auto dock, so I mean, it didn't yell at you that he was coding or anything. He's still just unconscious.
We might want to should we mention that he's on board?
No.
Okay. Okay.
Also out of character, did we raise any of our fortune?
I think
I
we're
did,
recovered.
but
It should be recovered to.
Yeah,
to
you would
the-
have. I think even June, with as much as you used over the 48-hour period, you would have ample opportunity to come back up to your full 18 or so.
Okay.
That a character would have at level 2. And I'll give the folks over on the Green Run and Discord a poke and just try to get some clarification on how that's calculated.
Okay.
Remember, what goes on our ship is our business. We just have to wait and make sure those bodies find a way off our ship.
Yes, our
Well,
ship.
I would really rather not try to make it an underhanded thing. I'd rather just get them off and not have to make it seedy.
Well, I might know some people on Tycho that can dispose of them for us.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, dead bodies are just going to go into the recycler anyway.
Yeah,
Well, how does it matter how they end up there?
but if this is a Martian ship and those are Martians, they really should be returned to Mars, or at least their families contacted or something.
That's going to raise a lot of questions
That would also-
we don't
yes.
want to answer.
I'm
the
sorry,
other
man.
thing,
I don't think
Chester-
we can do that.
the other thing, Chester, good luck finding any ID on them.
That's true.
You don't even know if they're Martian.
Chester just kind of no one can see him do this, but he just kind of glances down to where all the armory stuff is and goes, "Yeah, I guess it's just an assumption at this point."
I'm glad you're on board, Chester.
I'm glad I'm not in space. Like outside. I'm glad I'm inside.
Yes.
This
Let's
is
all
interesting.
stay inside.
Just because there's a whole bunch of Martian stuff on our ship, by the way, does not mean the people who took that stuff is Martian.
Shh, baby. Yeah, you don't like them saying it's not a Martian ship either, do you?
It's not a Martian ship, it's our ship now.
There's more Martians on it.
That can be fixed.
I would assume there's some sort of docking system that would pop up for Thomas and aid in navigating to your assigned berth.
Indeed.
And you come in, you dock. I'm assuming you're not trying to do anything like overly flashy or difficult, so a roll wouldn't be necessary.
How out of character for Thomas. Please don't do
He's a
anything.
consummate professional.
I mean, if you want to do something flashy,
he doesn't. He absolutely doesn't.
that would be up to Thomas.
Yes, it would.
You do like a sick drift into place.
Oh gosh, we're all gonna
Well,
die.
I mean, we all know how I park in Atlas. So.
Full burn inside the station.
Yep.
And then just drop the anchor.
Yep. But no, I shall be, just quietly mosey on into the docking area.
Okay. Easy enough to do. I will say, since it was specifically mentioned, you do make sure to rotate the ship around. So the unoccupied airlock is the one facing to the station. And you get a good dock, and you are now docked with Tycho Station.
Okay, GM. So, having been to Tycho before, do we know what the customs procedures are? Like, are people going to come on board the ship or anything, or they just care about what's leaving our ship and going on board Tycho? Because we would. Well, maybe Chester might not know exactly, but somebody's going to know in our group of people if people are going to come on board to give the ship a once-over or not. I mean, obviously it's going to happen eventually if we need repairs, but thinking...
There wouldn't necessarily be an inspection unless the local authorities felt that it was necessary. Normally what you would expect, there'll probably be somebody waiting for you, some sort of for lack of a better term, port authority with paperwork and forms to fill out, where you would declare, like, if you have cargo, are you unloading cargo, are you looking to take on cargo, just kind of tracking who and what is on your ship.
Yeah. And our ship is officially listed as a salvaged vessel, right? Like, that's how they wrote all the paperwork out. It didn't just come out of whole cloth. So we're literally coming here after salvaging a ship and getting it inspected and repaired and up to snuff. So,
yeah, that's basically what the paperwork that got filled out would indicate. And so that might lead to a more in-depth inspection before the ship would be released to fly again. But that kind of depends on exactly who you interact with and possibly money changing hands.
Right.
Kind of thing. It wouldn't be the first time. The ship looks good.
Yeah, I mean, it's Tycho, right?
Going for a safety inspection.
It's only sort of legitimate.
But in this specific situation, what you'd probably be expecting is somebody waiting at the airlock to fill out the paperwork and dot the I's, cross the T's, and then kind of proceed from there with what the plan is.
Okay.
And as long as, you don't believe yourselves to be wanted fugitives of some sort, you probably won't have a lot of armed guards waiting to storm the ship.
I mean, aren't the people at Tycho in trouble anyway because they stole the Nauvoo?
This is before... that's right. This is after Eros.
No, this would be after.
This isn't... And they kind of gloss over that because they were trying to stop Earth from getting murdered by a giant asteroid. So people are just like... So they're in trouble with a certain subset of the population of the of Earth,
Mhm.
and there's legal action there. But other than that, like, they're not criminals or anything.
And
Yeah.
I think
so.
part of the thing of going, I think the original impetus for going and salvaging the Bavu is to get out of being sued.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it's one of those business as usual on Tycho as far as most people are concerned, unless of course you have like active stake in like the ownership of Tycho Station or something like that. In which case, all of the legal stuff, it's something more that the folks at the top are concerned about, not most of the day-to-day operation.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm assuming we're sending our face to the airlock. June, you know all this paperwork stuff. I'm assuming. Do you need any help with it, or?
I don't need help with the paperwork itself, but it's always nice to have a man around. Unfortunately, it makes it easier to talk to other men when I have a man around.
What about men with guns? that make it
Let's
easier?
not do that. Let's not do that. No,
Heavily
no.
armed?
No, how about no?
having a pistol on Tycho is not out of the question.
Having a
but
pistol is fine. Going out there with one of those rifles is not going to happen.
Boo.
Oh, Carter,
I'll stay
you make me
here.
laugh.
If Thomas was a puppy, his ears would be folded and he'd be looking very sad right now.
Oh, poor babies. Yes. If any of you would like to come with me, just to be a pretty face, then that is up to you. If not, I am perfectly confident going out there on my own. But depending on who we run into, I have had my fair share of men who will not take me seriously unless I have another man listening. So, any takers? No?
I'll go with.
Okay. Leave the gun.
I'll tag along too, just to see the process. I'm interested in learning how all this stuff works since I'm not a passenger anymore.
Okay. Follow me, gentlemen. She goes to the airlock and opens it up. Although I'm not entirely certain where we are going. Have we decided we're talking to Bennett, or have we not even discussed
we haven't
this?
decided. I think we're doing all our paperwork, and then we can decide afterwards.
Okay.
Did you ask that in game, or?
I can say,
No.
June, you would be aware, like, the question of purpose for visit is probably going to come up over the course of
Yes.
of this, so it may not be like a bad idea for at least June to have an idea of what the declared purpose of the trip is.
Well, technically speaking, it's for repairs. That's what she's going to say. But
Yeah, and that's what the not flight control, but that's what was announced when already. So.
yes.
If I may suggest, seeing as it is a matter of public record, this is a salvage vessel. It might not be too weird to quietly mention to the Tycho authorities that there are casualties who do
Yes.
need.
That's a good
arrest
idea.
and just-
She was going to mention that with whoever it is she's going to talk to.
Indeed.
Yeah. Okay. So, she, by the way, in getting ready to come into Tycho, has put on one of her pretty dresses because she figured that she was going to have to do this. So she's wearing a very long, flowy dress that she like tapes to her legs when she's not when she's in less than gravity.
I'd say, given what June has been up to recently, being on board a ship, it wouldn't have been difficult to have found a tailor that could make some modifications. So you would get the flowy dress that's also
Like-
practical to wear in 0G.
Like
Right.
it's like a bell shape, so
or
it doesn't
a little-
floof up. Yeah.
A little less unpractical. It's still not the most practical thing to wear.
No, it's not.
But yeah.
Yep.
You don't have to break out the duct tape every time you go to put it on, kind of thing.
No, it would be like double-sided tape.
Yeah, and the
to
nice thing about
her
Tycho,
thighs.
Tycho is the docks are in spin gravity, so
Yeah, I know. But the ship is not.
If the ship is docked, it is also in spin gravity.
Oh, well, I guess
Indeed.
so.
Mhm.
But not when she's getting dressed.
Yeah.
Anyway, so off they go, right? And
She's pulling the tape off the dress.
no, it can stay there. It's fine. But because it wouldn't be seen either
Mm.
way. She is going to march straight up. Well, not march, but walk very confidently toward whoever it is that is taking care of their docking station.
Yep. You can kind of waiting. They're on the other side of the airlock. There'd be just a short hallway because it's kind of a docking arm, since they don't know exactly how big of a ship would be docking or what the configuration would be. So you make your way down that, and on the other end, there's an individual that you gather is the one waiting for you. Middle-aged, definitely somebody who looks rather bored, standing there with a larger tablet than your normal communicator, kind of basically clipboard. He looks up as he hears the door open, and then a very obvious double take as June comes through the door, because that is not what he was expecting by any stretch of the imagination. And you can tell he's still trying to process that as you close the distance to him. On his jumpsuit, you can see you would gather his last name King is kind of stitched on, and he'd be wearing probably a vest of some sort that would identify him as some sort of port official.
Okay. Hello there, sir. How are you today?
I'm doing fine. You can see he's still not processing what he was seeing, but he's slowly getting, just basically dropping into the routine.
All right.
And
She sticks out her hand confidently. Hello, I'm June. Nice to meet you. I assume your name is King.
Quentin King. Here to process your paperwork here coming on board, and he turns the clipboard tablet around to hand it to you. If you could get this all filled in, pretty basic stuff.
All right. Thank you very much.
Anything in particular to declare, or
So this is a salvage vessel that we are bringing in for repairs. Dee, could you please mute your microphone while I'm talking? So this is a salvage vessel that we are wanting to have repaired. We also are looking. We have, in the salvage of this vessel, come across a few people who unfortunately did not make whatever unfortunate thing happened to them. So we will need some help in trying to ID these poor souls, as well as figuring out where to send their bodies. If you know someone that we can talk to about that, that would be very helpful. We do want the best for them.
you see his face go from perplexed to okay, salvage vessel, and then as you mention bodies, it's just like, oh, paperwork. He just sort of deflates a little bit.
I, of course, will help you with whatever information I can.
Jester pipes up. They're all wearing vac suits, so everything's pretty self-contained. And we've kept
And
them at a low
human.
temperature.
Nothing blue about them.
Right.
Okay.
That's going to take some extra paperwork.
By the way, at Carter's comment, June just kind of very carefully does not roll her eyes and just very, very gently deflates slightly.
Well, that salvage ship, that's going to require a full inspection and check off to make sure that everything is in order. Remains, that's going to require, and like he goes into kind of listing off this very lengthy process, all of which you can tell probably best case is going to take like a week or more, likely longer. is kind of the end total of getting all of the people lined up to come through and do what is necessary.
All right. Well, it sounds like we have a bit of time on our hands. I'm once again, if I can make anything easier for you, I would love to do that. Is there anything that you need from us right now?
Just fill out the forms there on the tablet and get it back to me when you're done. I'll be about. And he just kind of gestures to the general area.
All right, thank you very much. My friends and I here are going to go back onto the ship and I will get all of this done and hand it back to you as soon as I can. And she turns. Oh, I'm sorry. My child is very upset. She turns and looks at the two men and says, "Come on, gentlemen, we have some paperwork to do," and starts walking back to the ship.
As Chester follows, he's going to look at... I always forget Scarlett's name.
Carter.
Carter. He's going to look over at Carter and be like, "I told you she was in charge."
And Carter will just be silent and kind of give the Port Authority a little nod and then turn and follow.
Blue, what are you talking? You can't joke like that, man.
Okay. So once they're back inside and the door is sealed, she's going to quickly turn to Carter and be like, "What are we going to do?"
Well, we are going to I'm going to make some phone calls and I will get back to us. I say we get Alexander on the line and get that cargo out of here as quickly as possible.
You can't be serious.
Why are we going directly to the shady? Can't we just... There's got to be somewhere on the ship we can put or seal the cargo. If we're not dropping it off, they have no reason to inspect the cargo. They're just inspecting the ship.
They're coming in to inspect the ship. What do you think they're going to do with the cargo when they find a Martian mobile assault package sitting in our cargo bag?
It's not a full package. It's like just a recon package or something like that. I don't know. Thomas would know.
An OPA station. You think they're going to let us keep that? Or you think they're going to take it for themselves?
They check the vents. They know that people hide stuff. We need to figure out a way to get rid of them, but the idea of going straight to a black market broker makes my skin tingle.
Well, if either of you have a contact on station that we can get rid of this and get paid for it, I'm all ears.
I mean...
It's that, or we take the risk that the OPA is going to leave all these weapons and ammunition for us to do with as we please.
I mean,
when they come on board and find it.
We're in the belt. They're not illegal. We could offer to sell some of them to them at a low price. I'm sure Fred Johnson always wants more bullets. Chester doesn't have a high opinion of Fred Johnson.
Again, we're in the belt, which means what he says goes. If he says it's illegal and we can't have it, they're just going to take it. If we get rid of it, then the money's ours.
We should talk to everybody about this.
Yes, we should.
I agree, and we need to do it quickly. I'm going to start this paperwork. You guys, I will come with you. Let's figure all this out, but I need to get this paperwork done or else he's going to start to suspect something weird.
I didn't get the feeling that he was in a exuberant rush to get all this paperwork started.
No, I agree, but I still know my time frame. I've got to at least get it started. When we have everybody go back to the ship with the paperwork, if we're in here for too long, he's probably going to be like, "Wait a second."
Well, I don't think there is a too long for a ship that we just salvaged. But
I think we should stop arguing and walk up and talk to everybody else. And he's just going to kind of, start walking and climbing the ladder and hoping they follow.
And she does. She follows. She's just
Yep.
starting the paperwork.
I have this mental image of June freehanding. She's climbing the ladder with one hand, 2 legs, and she's tapping away with her thumb on her tablet on the other.
Mm-hmm. The paperwork is all very cut and dry. It's not anything that June hasn't seen before. Filling out various boxes and then, okay, over here, cargo to declare and, all that kind of good stuff. The kind of stuff that really nobody is ever going to look at in any detail unless there's some reason for them to look at it in detail.
So where are we going to congregate?
I mean, I think everybody else is still up on the bridge, right? Or are you?
Well, except for Rebecca.
Oh, right.
There we go. We can come back over here.
Why don't we put out a call for everyone to meet in the galley, because there's not really enough room on the bridge.
Okay, Chester will make his way up to the galley, and he'll sit at this seat so he doesn't have to get anything for anyone.
The call is all you, Carter. You call everybody. I'm busy.
Everyone come to the galley, please.
June told him to say that.
Everyone who's not unconscious in a medical coma, please come to the galley.
Is he just set up where did we put him? Did we just put him in one of the crew quarters?
I think we put him in one of the crew quarters.
Mm-hmm.
We turned one into the medical area.
Yeah, I think it's the one opposite of Chester's.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's where we found him anyway, right? So he's just getting better in his room.
Yes.
Staff meeting, everybody.
Good news, everyone. Oh, wait, no. Wrong game.
Okay.
Is Rebecca here? Yes,
yeah,
she is.
Rebecca
She's up
would
there. Yeah.
eventually come up. She's already, you can see, the Expanse version of kind of grease stained, smeared. She was probably already in the process of, some of the maintenance and things that you can really only do when you're docked and kind of really power down.
She smells like fusion pellets.
Basically, she's standing kind of over in a corner awkwardly.
All right, everyone. So the ship's getting inspected because it's salvage. As I see it, we have 2 options. We contact Bennett, the foreman here at Tycho, and we see if he knows some way to get the cargo off, or we contact Alexander and sell it to him, and he could deal with getting it off the ship.
Didn't the captain say that she knew the repair yard one of the repair yard foremans here, Bennett?
Yeah, I think
And that he
owes
was
her
gonna-
a favor.
Exactly. So maybe we talk to Bennett before we make any decisions.
Yes, especially because I'm claiming this as a salvage vessel anyway, which it is. And the fact, it's the truth will set you free, right? It's true. We found these, we didn't take them. And it's very easy to say, look, there were bodies. None of these are touched. We didn't take this vessel. And this was all on board, but it is salvage. I feel like it's all very legal if we make it legal. If we try to go straight to the black market, that immediately makes us criminals.
At least those of us who aren't already criminals. Giving a side eye to Carter, who's immediately wanting to go to the black market and stuff his pockets.
I'm just a realist, all right? I'm not a criminal. Not everyone that lives in the belt is a criminal, Duster, all right?
We don't need to go there right now. Come on.
All right, well then, let's put it to a vote. Who wants to contact Bennett? We're all in this together.
Chester raises both of his hands.
That counts as 1.
As does Thomas. He also grumbles that as much as it pains him, he does agree with the Earth.
What about Nigel?
Nigel just shakes his head.
And June?
Well, I said my piece. I think that going legal is the best idea. There's
Yes, and
also
we're putting
another.
it to a vote.
Yes. So obviously you know my vote.
Can you say your vote so that it's official?
I vote that we talk to a Mr. Bennett Watson, yard foreman here at Tycho Station. Are you happy?
Yes, thank you very much.
I told her
I
she was in
also-
charge.
I also agree. So that's 4. So that's the majority. So let's
And a
contact
head
Bennett.
shake. Hooray. Okay. So, I am pretty much done with this paperwork. The only thing that vote changed for me is that I am actually going to put the armament on my claim sheet
Well, I
Should
thought we were
we?
going to talk to Bennett before we did anything.
Yeah,
before it even turn in the paperwork, I suppose.
I'm not sure how they do things here on Tycho, but if things are as fungible as Carter implies they are, then we should probably talk to the people who are doing the work in order to figure out our best option of not only following the rules, but staying out of trouble and keeping our heads down and keeping the eyes off of the bard, which is also one of our priorities here, per the captain.
All right. Well, if you two gentlemen would like to accompany me again, we can go and ask about Bennett's whereabouts.
We could probably calm him.
Probably, but I would rather do this face to face. It's easier that way.
Question. So June would know this. I don't know if Chester would know this, but do we need to fill this paperwork out before entering the station proper? I feel like we probably do, but I'm not positive.
It's generally accepted that you do, but
Yes.
it's also not uncommon for somebody to drag their heels a little bit getting it filled out.
And so that is why, by the way, she made a stink anyways, because she's like, even before I turn the paperwork, because in her head she's already thinking, I want to see him in person. So she made that assumption.
Well,
So
are you just gonna go see him then? And because I feel like that, I don't know. I feel like whether we go directly there or we ask him to meet us or we have a comm request or whatever, there's going to be record of us wanting to talk to him. But that makes sense because we know him ostensibly, and we're going to have our work done by him ostensibly.
would we like to call him to the ship?
I
so
think
that
that
we
would
can
be a
stay
good
here?
idea.
I think we should call him to the ship
Okay.
because
Kind of like we did with the captain.
he knows the captain. He doesn't know us.
Yeah. Well, does Carter know him at all? Being the second officer, has Carter met this person before?
Probably recognized the name, may not have been involved in like specific conversation.
Along with that, has June helped with any of previous negotiations that the captain would have had with Bennett?
How long had June been on the Shakespeare?
On the Bard?
Yeah.
I thought about 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
Depends on what the overhaul schedule is for Shakespeare. Because you don't go into a yard unless you need an overhaul or a full inspection.
I would say probably not. And the indication, June, you would have picked up on this. The indication you got from Captain Carroll was more that he's a friend, possibly somebody that like she's calling in a favor. She may have even, contacted ahead to let him know that you were coming.
I really hope she did.
But not somebody that would have been involved in anything that you're aware of in your time on the Bard. So whatever connection they have would pre-exist your time.
Okay, and I thought so. I was just making sure.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, if nobody else is opposed to it, then I will just get right on sending a comm out and seeing if he can come and visit. And hopefully we can just get this done, and his ties with the captain will be in our favor.
I'm sure that's how it'll work. Jester just kind of pats his little pocket Bible.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay.
Rebecca just kind of looks around and says, so can I go back to the engine now?
Yes, thank you, Rebecca.
Thanks for coming up, Rebecca.
She just said nothing else this entire time.
I imagine as soon as someone starts to say yes, she just grabs the ladder and just slides down as fast as she can. You just hear the squeaking as she goes down the ladder.
Yeah. So she heads back to...
So, June, are you going to call, or do you want me? Are you still busy with the paperwork? Do you want me to give him a call?
The paperwork I was actually able to get done in that short conversation because it was so familiar. So,
Yeah.
So I'm going to call. However, I also want to ask, because I'm not very good at knowing how the communications work here. It's not possible for me to talk to the bard at this point, right? Because they're so far away.
You can send a message, but you don't have real-time conversation.
Right.
There's going to be a light speed delay, but it's probably less than 5 or 6 hours at this point. It's not more than a few hours.
Yeah. The only problem is what she would probably need more or less time. Okay. So she's just gonna go on up here, right? Because the only are the ship comms up in that first thing or down here or everywhere?
So just like modern stuff, you've got Wi-Fi. And
Right,
so
okay.
you can access ships comms and stations comms from your terminal. You have a smartphone, you can call them on the phone.
Right. Okay.
Or send them a text or email or whatever.
Okay. So June is going to look up that information and just send a message, basically a text at this point. And send it to Watson and say, hello. This is the good news. Has Captain, Carol, what's her last name?
Carol Lewis.
Carol, has Captain Carol Lewis contacted you recently? Well, I'm not going to say about. I'm just going to ask if Carol Lewis has talked to him.
Okay.
Okay. You send the message off. There's a brief bit of delay before you get a response back. See, what would he... you just get back a yes and you've arrived ?
She sends back, yes, we have arrived. We are at Station B
Something.
June would know. That's
yes,
fine.
we are at that station. We have the paperwork pretty much done, but we are requesting that you come meet us on the ship.
You get back 10-4, and then I'll be... What would it take him? He would tell you he'd be there in half hour, 45 minutes, something like that.
All right. 10-4, thank you so much. We will wait for your arrival. Okay, friends. He has apparently been contacted by Captain Carol. So, she must have said something because all he asked is, "You've arrived?" ? So she must have said something about us coming. He's on his way, probably less than an hour, but probably closer to 45 minutes is my guess.
So before he gets here, what are we asking this guy to do for us? Like, so we all know what the plan is.
So what I definitely want to do is, just like with the captain, make him aware of the situation and tell him, right, this was all salvage. We found all of this, and I want to know his ideas for how to go about this in a legal way, and that we can just get our business done without having the entirety of the station and its authorities down our throat. As he's the yard foreman, he is one of the people who goes through all of the different paths to get people in and out of the station.
Well,
So
he's a yard foreman.
Well, yes, but
he's still going to know the way.
yeah,
the
he's
ways
still
through
going to
the
know
system.
how to get things in and out of the station, and he'll have a better idea of how we can navigate this in a legal way, or if that's even possible. But because of his ties to the captain, I have a feeling he'll be more on our side than others would be.
Did the captain say that she'd mentioned our specific situation to Bennett?
She never did, but that's why I want him here and face to face. But it's, like I said, it's obvious that she's mentioned that we're coming, and I knowing Carol, I seriously doubt that she's just like, oh yeah, my friends are coming here. She didn't magically pick up a ship of crewmates. That she would just let people know that they're on their way. I'm sure she's mentioned at least kind of the situation. I just doubt she probably hasn't said anything about the cargo itself, but that, we came across a ship and now this is an affiliate of hers, basically. She would want him to know.
Maybe we leave out the part where we had to murder robots and just, this is a salvage ship, and leave out anything that we might not be 100% positive that the captain's told them until we know for sure.
I agree.
Yeah, they're gonna find the guns, so we got to talk about that, and they'll have the ship's logs of us firing torpedoes and PDCs. So that's all there, unless we want to Control-Alt-Delete that. I don't know. I think we just talk to him first and see what's going on.
I just want to talk to him. I just want to see what he knows. I can read people pretty well. Just gonna see what he knows and what he thinks.
Chester's just going to get up and he's going to walk over to the 3D printer thing and start printing himself a snack of, quote, grilled cheese, end quote, which is probably made out of mold and fungus and, like, yeast proteins or something.
The finest in belt cooking, yes.
Yes. Anybody else want a sandwich?
You got any more
No,
cobbler?
thanks.
He reaches into his pocket, looks in there, and he sees over the past few days he's eaten about 7 of them. He's got 2 left. And he goes, yes. I've got peach and he looks at the other one, but it's like scratched off. And surprise, I don't know what this one is. It's still cobbler though. It's in the same package.
I'm done with surprises. Can I please have the peach?
He tosses it to June.
Thank you. She munches on it while she double checks all of the things on the paperwork.
A little bit of time pass. Anybody have anything else that they want to do over the course of the next half hour, 45 minutes? I will mention the cargo that you have. Unless you leave like crates and things standing open, they don't look overly like military or they're definitely designed to disguise what they're carrying. So if you're just wanting to have it camouflaged, somebody passing through the cargo bay, as long as you have everything closed, it's not going to scream, "Hey, we have a small Martian armory here." So that's not something you have to worry about unless you've specifically left something open.
The only thing I think
Right.
it's left open is the exploded drone box.
Yeah, that would be. But even, if you swing the top back, it's obviously damaged.
Put it against
but-
the wall, slide something in front of it.
Mhm,
This is
yeah.
fine. Wipe the bloodstains up.
So-
I assume
Well,
we've
I figure
wiped
if
up all
they're-
the bloodstains at this point, by the way. I
Yes,
assume we've cleaned that up.
given that you had three of you doing, maintenance of one sort or of another over the last couple of days, I would assume, most of everything had been cleaned up, squared away. These totally aren't bullet holes have been patched. Mhm. So, you would get an alert through the ship. Basically, it's the doorbell at the far end of the docking arm that somebody is wanting to come on board.
Okay. At that point, June would have made her way down here, so that she could be there about 15 minutes before he was
Mhm.
supposed to arrive. And if anybody else wanted to be with her, then that's cool, but don't have to be.
Chester went to his cabin to read.
I think Thomas will turn up, not directly involved in the conversation, but sort of leaning against one of the doorways, just sort of a couple of meters behind.
Okay. So, are you in the room then? There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm remembering how to drag.
Yeah. What's Carter up to? Is he gonna be here for this?
No, he went back to his cabin. He's gonna search who he might know, who else might be on the station.
He's already
he may
selling
have-
the weapons to people.
So theoretically, if I had access to, what would that be worth? Theoretically.
I'm not saying I got it, but if I did,
Carter's gonna get us all killed.
yes.
And Nigel,
Carter's
what
going to
are-
be the only one that lives.
Go ahead.
Nigel, anything in particular?
Nope, just back to the cabin for Nigel to nurse his headache.
Gotcha.
Poor man slamming his face into the console.
So you get the alert. Basically, it's the door chime kind of thing. That there's somebody wanting to come on board the ship.
Okay. June opens up the airlock, and I assume, is it just him, or does he have people with him?
Nope. You see that one individual coming. Yes, the gravity would say, yeah, because you're spinning, so he's making his way down. Definitely a belter. As he gets closer, you can see he definitely looks like he's older, but for a lot of belters, that's, some relatively young folk can look relatively old, but he's got receding hairline. What's there is starting to go white. A little bit of kind of couple of days worth of beard growth that he hasn't bothered to shave, but otherwise a relatively, neat, well put together individual. And he comes in, doesn't make any, remark or comment at June's dress before stepping inside, kind of looking around a little bit. Puts out his hand. Bennett Warren,
Hello, I'm June McKenna. Nice to meet you.
pleased to meet you too. He kind of looks over in Thomas's direction.
This is Thomas. He is our pilot.
Pleased to meet you. I guess the fact that I haven't heard anything about your arrival probably speaks to your qualifications. Not that Carol is in the habit of employing those that don't know what they're doing when helming a ship.
Thomas just shrugs.
June's inner monologue has something to do with, I can't believe that I got strapped with these losers.
Why me? Why me?
I have to make
What
us
have I-
all look good and they are not helping.
Yeah. What have I done that's cursed me to be amongst these people.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she
Um,
did that. She made that face at Carol. She made that "Why'd you do me like this" face.
Yep.
Anyway, so she looks up at Watson, and she's she's also frustrated because since she's left Earth, she has not been tall ever, and she used to be on Earth. But she looks up at him. She just says, thank you very much for taking time out of your day to come and meet us. I am interested in what the captain mentioned to you about how we were able to get this ship and how it was salvaged.
Well, she let me know that she'd come across a vessel and salvaged it and was going to need, all of the boxes ticked and inspection and whatnot to make sure everything was on the up and up, as well as making sure there wasn't anything, lurking in the engine or other systems that's going to come back to bite you.
Okay.
But other than that, nothing in particular.
All right. Well, wonderful. I just didn't know if she mentioned how she came across the ship. That's all. So, yeah, it's been interesting because she just kind of set some of us here to take care of the ship for her, basically. So if she's already contacted you about hopefully getting all the boxes ticked, that's fantastic, because I have a few here on the list that I am wondering your opinion about. I personally have never come into Tycho, and I'm wondering how what we can do to get out of the way so that any inspection can be done in the quickest way possible, so that nobody has to wring their hands over it. I hate inspections, and based on my conversation with your poor man outside, Mr. King, it sounds like he doesn't like paperwork much either. So I just want to make sure that everybody can have the most pleasant experience they can. And I do not know how that works here on Tycho. So could you please educate me?
Well, to begin with, ship labeled as salvaged, crew of, or the ship this side, be a couple of engineers had come on board and just start poking around and check to make sure everything is in working order, that it's not going to be, the ship won't be a hazard to itself or any other shipping or ports that it might put into. Usually that includes some form of report as to the specifics of how the ship came to be salvaged. Because if there's any sort of legal entanglements that have to be sorted out because of it, that has to be reported. Though, as is usually the case, possession is, 9/10 of the law. So if somebody does have a claim, if you're physically standing on it, kind of makes your claim a little bit stronger. Other than just kind of getting the forms filled out, it's not a terribly difficult or complicated process, albeit it can be somewhat time consuming. I did stop and chat with King on the way in, and he mentioned something about remains.
Yes.
That can often complicate things.
Yes. Unfortunately, when we found this ship, there seemed to have been some ventilation, and the poor souls on board didn't make it. We do have one person who is in our medical bay, but he has not yet woken up. So, and it's been a while. I don't know how well we'll be able to help that person. But as to his shipmates, I'm assuming that's who they are. We have a few different bodies, and we have not yet been able to ID them. I don't know how in depth you would like to go with that, but we've had them on board and we've been throughout their ship, and I, again, have not found any ID.
There wasn't some kind of personnel log in the ship's computer? Was it the computer damaged in some way when... That's a little unusual.
It is unusual. Not that I know of. I can ping our resident tech and he can probably let you know a little bit more if you would like. But I as far as I know, the computer was fine. We, I know pretty much as much as the next person when it comes to coming across a ship with dead people on it. It was not a pleasant experience for any of us.
Right. He kind of, you can see sort of looks back through the airlock a little bit before stepping through, just kind of toggles it closed. Okay, let's kind of cut through the noise a bit here. What exactly is it that you need my help with? Because Carol mentioned, moving the inspection process through, but I get the feeling that you're asking for a little bit more of my help here, navigating some of this.
All right. So, not only is it a little bit weird, as you mentioned, with the bodies, and having to, because nobody wants to show up and be like, "Hi, we have dead people on our ship. Could you please help us?" But they're, possessions that they may have had. I'm not sure how much of a deal Tycho makes of, well, you salvaged this ship, but this is here and we want to look at that, or this is here. Because back on Earth, I don't know if you know this, but back on Earth, sometimes if there's an inspection, people go through your personal effects and all that. So I just didn't know how much of a hassle this would be, and if we would be not necessarily in trouble for or just on the hook for things that they might have owned. Because I was once in an apartment and they found in their inspection, they found something that the person before me had, and I got in trouble for it. So I'm just wondering.
Is there something in particular that you found on the ship that you don't want to report? Is that what you're telling me?
There might be. However, I know that that Carol would not send us to you without knowing that that we're not going to try and pull one over on you.
Right. How much did Carol tell you about me in particular?
Not much. I would love to learn.
Okay. Let's just put it like this. A number of years ago, I would assume well before you shipped out with her. In fact, she wasn't even captain of anything like that big crate that she's flying now. Helped me out with moving a little bit of cargo that I had access to. Hadn't had all of the inspections done to get everything from point A to point B, if that makes any sense.
It certainly does.
And ever since then, I've kind of made sure that when Carol needs something, I make sure that she streamlines the process, because the funds from that particular transaction got my wife over to Ganymede for the duration of her pregnancy and raising the child for a while, make sure that everything went well. So I owe her rather significantly. So why don't you stop stepping around whatever it is that you want to say and just go ahead and tell me, and it doesn't leave this bulkhead. And he kind of reaches back and knocks on the bulkhead a little bit.
That is fantastic news. Yes, as Thomas says, there are a lot of guns. We have no idea where they were going, why they're here, or anything like that. But there are many, 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 many guns in our cargo bay. And we don't necessarily want them to be to have to go through all of the ins and outs, because they definitely seem to be Martian. There's and again, we have no idea where these people were going, or if they were gonna do anything with them in particular. But now that we have them, we're kind of on the hook for them. And if you know of anybody who could help us out in relieving us of some of these in a very, in a very legal yet underhanded way. If you get my drift, I would love to meet this person.
This is the face, ladies and gentlemen. This is the face.
As you've kind of unveiled exactly
I can roll
what
for attraction and deception if you want.
I mean, you're not lying to him.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
He just sort of like crosses his arms, step backs a little bit, the eyebrow goes up.
Look vulnerable, June.
Let's just say
I'm playing
that,
straight with you, sir.
Let's just say that a fair portion of what I owe Carol is going to get wiped out with this one, I'm pretty sure.
I probably
go have a look at what you're talking about, and then we'll see exactly how that. And he kind of taps the clipboard tablet that I'm assuming you're still holding.
Yes.
Exactly how we're going to get this filled out for you.
That sounds beautiful. Will you walk with me and Thomas, please, and we'll head down the ladder here?
Yep. And we're going to real quick, because my buzzer just went off. I think we're at about the 1.5 hour mark.
Yep.
So we're going to take a few minutes, let everybody get up and move around, refill water, take care of children and or, pets as put another hour on the clock, because I think that's what we got left.
I'll a touch over, but yeah, a few minutes over is fine.
Well, I figure if it starts buzzing at me, then
we've
got to
got
draw things to a close.
Yeah.
So you, Bennett follows you up the ladder to the cargo bay, because I believe that is a level up.
Yes, it is.
Level down from the air.
Oh yeah, it's one down.
So you down the ladder, to the cargo bay. He kind of looks around. Doesn't immediately react, because again, I'm assuming you haven't left just crates of, rifles and grenades and armor and whatnot laying around open.
Did anyone pick up the MREs? Or are those still scattered across the floor?
I'm sure that
I'm
they
sure
were
they
picked
got
up.
maintenance.
I assume that Chester just soothed them all up.
I got all the desserts, yeah.
Mhm. So, and he just turns to June kind of with an eyebrow raised, like, okay, so where's the stuff that has you so concerned, kind of thing?
So the people who were carrying these things knew exactly what they were doing, and that's why it looks so lovely down here. She walks over to one of the crates and pops it open, and she's like, look at all these pretties.
Is there anything, have been a particular crate that she would have gone to, the contents of which she would want to display for impact, or is it just kind of one at random?
She would go definitely to the one with, or to one of them with guns that were heavily packed. And then she actually turns to Thomas at this point and goes, Thomas, is there anything that you would like to show Mr. Watson?
Well, I think Thomas would also go over to one of the crates of the rifles, lift one out, eject the mag that's in it, and sort of show it off and say, this is MCRN standard issue. What it was doing in a crate in a random ship, we have no idea.
And there are crates and crates and crates of them.
Yeah, they're a lot more than what is showing in that picture. The cargo bay is significantly fuller than the picture shows.
We also have some armor and lots of food. We would like to keep the food if we can.
Well, food you won't have too much trouble declaring, unless it's something like, real coffee or chocolate or something from.
Haven't
from
found any
dinner.
of that, darn it.
But if it's just basic stuff, you shouldn't have too much trouble. This stuff, though, and if Thomas offers it to him, he would take the rifle. That I can see why you might be a little concerned, but
Indeed, after handing over the rifle, the weird thing is we're probably looking at a standard assault package for at least a couple of squads of Marines. In my time in the Navy, I did haul around a few of these and see a few of them go into action. That's what makes this particularly weird. If it had just been a few crates of rifles that had fallen off the back of a space truck, it wouldn't be so bad. But the fact we are looking at a standard package that goes into, say, corvettes before they go out on ops is extremely strange.
You are... Well, that's probably something of the biggest understatement I've heard in the last couple of months anyway. But...
Thomas has a particular set of skills, sir.
I think the best thing for you to do is you list all of this as salvaged cargo and just be prepared to what would be the appropriate way that one of the dock folk would want it documented? Adequately compensate the inspector for their time when they come to actually poke through things.
In order to adequately compensate, I would love to move one crate. I don't really have that much, but maybe we can scrounge something.
Well, I can probably pull a couple of strings and make sure that one that doesn't value their time too terribly highly is the one that comes on board. But I think we can at least get your paperwork there done and turned in without raising too many eyebrows.
Lovely, thank you. And once it is claimed and it is all of the boxes are checked and whatnot, then we would be free to do with this cargo as we pleased, as far as maybe being able to contact other people here on this station, so that whatever, you mentioned your wife and your child, right? Any of us having needs like that might be able to take care of those.
Well, once the paperwork's in, you'd be able to move about Tycho without too much trouble. And as long as when you go to market any of your salvaged cargo here, you weren't too obvious about what it was that was being sold, you should
Absolutely
avoid most attention. Though keep in mind, Tycho is, all things considered, a relatively small community, and word does travel fast.
Yes. All right.
So when word gets out that you do have it, there will be those that are interested in taking it off of your hands and less interested in compensating you for doing so, if you know what I mean.
Understood. Yes. Thank you very much.
But I think I can help you get in touch with the right folk to at least get your paperwork done, and I'll make sure whoever comes on board to do your inspection doesn't go poking around asking any questions that they ought not be asking.
Thank you so much for your help, Mr. Watson.
Well, just next time you see Carol, let her know that we may not quite be even yet, but this one's definitely going to go a long way towards taking care of that one.
Oh, I'll let her know. Is there anything else that I can do for you while you are here?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much takes care of it. I also assume that you don't want to sit around cooling your heels here waiting on paperwork to process than you'd prefer.
No. We do also need a few repairs, but I figure that after the inspection that can be arranged.
That shouldn't be too difficult. Well, let me set about making some phone calls for you, and we'll get this show on the road.
Thank you. I assume we'll want to get rid of the poor souls first, and then move on from there.
That's probably the best thing to do, so
Mushroom
somebody doesn't
food.
open hatch at the wrong time and see something that might raise questions that we want to avoid. But I'll have somebody come around here before too long, and we'll get that process started as well.
All right. Thank you so much. And if you if you want any food, you let me know. I've got so much food for you.
Did you just ask him out to dinner?
No,
It
I
sounded
did not.
like it.
I did not.
Are you
I just
sure?
asked if he wants food. I've got food. If I wanted restaurant food, I'd go to a restaurant in Tycho Station. These
I think
MREs, good.
I think I'm good, but like I said, if you run across any of that good inner chocolate or coffee, I definitely take you up on that.
I'll let
Between
you-
Jude and Chester, there'd be nothing left
Yeah.
if there was anything.
She just kind of chuckles. She goes, I'll let you know if I find anything.
So he will make his way off the ship. He'd kind of nod at Thomas. He'd hand the rifle back before leaving.
He just walks over with it. This is
Throws
mine
it over
now.
his shoulder. I'll just
Can
take
I
this.
have that back?
No, he'd hand it back. And,
Thomas cradles it like a child and puts it back in the crate.
softly closes the lid. The
Actually
legs
goes, shh.
Precisely.
Uh,
sort of kisses his hand and taps the crate.
June just watches him. Like, she just has this look of absolute disbelief throughout the whole thing.
we'll kind of this isn't quite an interlude, but it would be somewhat similar. Basically, over the course of at least the next couple of hours, as I assume June kind of finishes filling in the suitably vague listing of salvaged cargo as a listing.
Machined parts that may or may not fit together as a gun.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff that he would have recommended you listed as, where you're providing a description, but it really doesn't give any indication of what it really is, and get it turned back in. Folks would start coming through to begin the process, usually with Bennett providing a heads up of who's coming, kind of thing. So there's a couple of folks that have like kind of first responder sort of uniforms on that begin the process of removing the previous crew from the ship.
Chester's gonna help them with that if they need any help at all.
Mhm.
Just because again, he's kind of used to working with dead people.
Yep. One of them would probably inquire, basically that they'd been told you have, somebody that might need some medical attention on board. Is that something?
Yeah, Chester will just be like, because he didn't realize that she told him about that. Oh yeah, right over here, and he's gonna take him to the room, which is this one right here.
Yep.
And just kind of open the door, be like, we found him on the ship. He's not responsive. He's alive. We don't know how long it's going to take him to recover. You can give him a once over. Like I said, we found him like this. It looked like he'd been knocked around in here from some maneuvering, and wasn't strapped down or anything. So I don't know.
One of them would step in and kind of crouch down to check the auto dock that I believe they fit around the upper arm.
Yeah.
And kind of, basically flip through and read the diagnostic and say, well, he's certainly stable. Wouldn't need to be transported off the ship for any medical care. But we could certainly get him to one of the clinics or hospitals here on Tycho if you'd like.
Just give me a second. He's going to pull out his terminal and gonna fire up a group call with June and Carter. Hey, bosses, whichever boss is the boss today. Could you? Do we want to keep our Sleeping Beauty on board, or should we transfer them over to one of the hospitals on Tycho? The techs here say he's stable, but that they could take him off our hands if we wanted them to.
Carter, that's up to you. I don't particularly have an attachment to this person.
She says that now, but choose wisely.
Well, unless you're paying for him to go to a private hospital, I say we keep him on board if he's not in danger of dying.
That's a fair point. Chester hadn't thought about that, considering the healthcare system of Mars is nationalized. Yeah. We'll probably just hang on to him for now. Good. Do you guys know whereabouts we can get refills for the autodock here? Because it is expending a bit of its sweet into this gentleman, keeping him stable and not dead. So, just want to make sure that he's given the best care that we can give here on the ship.
Yeah, they'd give you contact information for basically like a medical supply outfit, because it's not unusual for a ship to need to top off on some of the basic medical supplies when they put in. So it's not unusual. That would be the kind of a normal restocking thing. So they point you in that direction. There's also a couple of techs that come by and begin the process of doing the salvage inspection. They are watched like a hawk the entire time by Rebecca as they go poking around what is now her engine and her ship. She doesn't say anything, but she is just like 2 steps behind them the entire time.
Is she sleeping in the vent? Like, where is she sleeping?
I think we set up a crash couch down there for her. She put one down there and she's just sleeping in engineering.
You would have found that she did, she has laid claim to one of the cabins, but there is a kind of rudimentary acceleration couch that has been affixed down in engineering, because she was not a fan of the 3-deck hustle that she had to make last time in order to get strapped in. So the inspectors kind of give that one the sort of look that a vehicle safety inspector would give if you were to mount a seat in the bed of a pickup. But given who sent them here, they don't say anything about it, because that's kind of what it would be like.
It was like that when we found it.
But yeah,
It's just a lawn chair bolted to the floor.
Yeah, she's bolted it.
It's a little bit better than that, but not.
It lives
not
here now.
Too much. Yeah, this is here now. But they don't say anything. There's a couple of other things. The report would come back with stuff that I think you guys probably expected. But there's not anything that would require the ship to be impounded or anything. All of this is going to take a little bit of time. So if you do have some other things on Tycho that you want to do, that's all not happening over the course of a couple of hours. Bennett does attempt to expedite things as much as he can, but the salvage process, paperwork getting filed, basically allowing the minimum amount of time required for somebody else to be notified and attempt to make a claim, that kind of thing, it's going to take some time to get everything to go through. So you'll at least have a couple more days, upwards of a week on Tycho. But the process seems to be going forward without too much trouble. June, you would also get... how would he go about doing this? What you get at some point is another individual that kind of has more of a uniform look arrives and informs you that he's here to inspect the cargo. As he makes his way into the cargo bay, he basically looks around. Yep, there's cargo. Stamps it, hands you the forms, and leaves. You would gather that Bennett may have helped you out on that front as well, making sure you had an appropriately
greased wheel.
non-invasive inspector.
Yeah.
It was like, oh yeah, there's crate there. Yep, that's salvage cargo. Looks like it to me. Yeah, that one's got machine parts in it. Kind of thing. Barely moves 5 feet from the ladder the entire time he's in the cargo bay before. Yeah. Kind of thing. You're definitely getting the red carpet rolled out on a number of different fronts here. So.
Yes.
But yeah. Go ahead.
June, after that happened, she's gonna let Carter know about that and just kind of happily wiggle her head back and forth and be like, "I did a good thing. This is fine. We're all fine here."
So during this time, Chester is going to periodically check in on. Did we find out this guy's name? I forget.
He did have a name.
He has a name.
He did have a name?
I thought so. I thought it was in the log that we found.
John Doe?
I did not write down his name.
Maybe we didn't. I don't know.
Well, we can ask him when he wakes up eventually.
Yeah.
He tries to murder us all in our sleep.
So Chester for like the first day or so of this is just kind of, and I assume even though even though DE forgot, Chester remembered to check on him at least,
Yes.
a couple times a day. And after having done this for, 4 or 5 days, he kind of like hits himself in the head, goes, "Oh, of course," and slaves his terminal to the auto dock. And so if there's any sign of problems or him waking up, it will summon Chester. And now he just kind of goes in there to just kind of reposition him enough so he doesn't get like bed sores or something, although it's unlikely at low G, but still. Just trying to keep him comfortable and, not dead.
For my notes, how much warning would Chester have set the auto dock? Like, how sensitive to Kay waking up do you want the auto dock to alert you? Because you'd have the ability to kind of set.
I mean, realistically, I don't think you can tell if someone's going to wake up or not much more than like 15 or 20 minutes before. Like maybe because he'll start shifting or whatever. If it sees signs of it, it'll just kind of ping his terminal. But I don't think you could get realistically much more than like 15 or 20 minutes warning.
Okay.
And I mean, and that's in there. That's like, okay, so how I would do it as someone who's never GM before, I think, is I would have it be like, if it's a possibility he might wake up, maybe you have a set of times and then you just do a private roll to see if he wakes up in 5 minutes or in 20 minutes. So if he either wakes up alone or not alone kind of thing.
Well, it can also, it can be set, if it's detecting some of those signs, it can hit a mild sedative. Basically keep somebody, it would have the ability, less than trying to predict, more like, okay, he's starting to come back up, and then making sure that the patient stays out until somebody can be present to.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Okay.
Yeah, so that you can run it either direction.
Okay, so I'll have it alert me that it's signs that he might be waking up with remote options in, and if he's not smart enough to do all this, I'm assuming he would know how to work an auto dock pretty well. He'll have things like sedate or wake up or basic like treatment macros set up on his phone or terminal, so they can take care of stuff like that.
Yeah, I think the auto dock comes with some pretty, like, that's part of the point, is you can have somebody that doesn't know a lot about medical care, get it on somebody's arm, and it'll take it from there. Very user friendly, comes with an app, all that kind of good stuff.
but it's not it's not a paid app, it's a free app. So like every third, use of the auto dock, you have to watch a 15-second ad.
Yeah. That kind of thing. So it's relatively easy to set up, and with Chester's background, you know the exactly the best way to set everything up to do what he wants to do. So that you'll have as much warning as it can provide, and then you'll have the opportunity, as long as you're within range, to provide some input back on what you want it to do. Okay, so like I said, all of this is going to take a little bit of time, but very quickly the paperwork goes through, so you guys would be free to move about the station while it happens.
At some point, Thomas is going to ping both Carter and June a message that's just going to say, restock torpedoes and PDC ammo, and then sort of like a wrench, a rocket, and explosion emoji.
Carter will just reply with, "You have money?" ?
Well, I'm sure if we could, get work together on it, or if I don't know if Carol would have provided us a float while we get ourselves set up with the same account we would pay whatever we have to pay to keep the ship into. But
Do we have an expense account with the ship?
I'm not sure.
I don't know.
One was never mentioned.
Well, I'm asking the GM
yeah.
because I think June would know with the contract stuff because she did all that.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have some kind of like expense account, or is this all we pay for the ship and then we have to take care of it?
I believe the only thing that's been stated about the deal is it was about as generous as June would have expected. Just tipping over into Carol's favor as far as how everything goes, depending on exactly how hard the negotiations went. So while you probably have some amount of income, like as a group for the ship, we're probably looking at, and I think we mentioned this before, but the way the system does income, instead of tracking like specific dollar amounts or amounts, there is a income test that can be done. So you have an income score, both individually, and then you can have a group one for something like maintaining and upkeeping a ship. And depending on what that score is and what you're trying to buy, you can either just afford it, that may lower your income score, or you can, if it's not something you can afford, you can roll an income test, and it, you have the possibility of succeeding, being able to squeeze together the funds to do it. That usually then definitely results in a reduction of your overall score until you have an opportunity to bring it back up. And what you were given as kind of a starting stake, instead of just Carol handing you the ship and the keys, being like, "Here, have fun. Just make sure you fuel it up every once in a while," kind of thing. There'd be a little bit, but we're probably talking an income score of 2 or 3. It's not gonna cover long term. It'll keep the ship fueled for a little while, but purchasing ammunition and torpedoes is gonna really stress that.
Right.
Yeah, I assume there would have been something since we fired the torpedoes and PDCs defending the ship before it became Verticommer's ours. So that's why I thought maybe we'd be given a little tiny bit of seed fund like you just described.
We could try and pool our well actually Chester doesn't know anything about this, so I'm just going to shut up.
I think June would talk something about if we manage to move some of these crates, then that some of that money will go to armament.
I think we need to move all the crates.
I would like to, except
And
I
get
also
rid
know
of
that
it all.
Carter and Chester want to keep them.
I don't want to keep them.
I don't want to keep them. I think Thomas
I
wants to
picture
keep
all
them.
those crates as dollar signs so that we can get away from this place
Yes,
and
well,
not get murdered for what's in the ship.
you don't want to keep at least one for yourself. Come on, Carter.
I already took one.
Ah.
I took one like 2 sessions ago, and it's in my room now.
Okay, got it.
Indeed.
Chester still has Thomas's pistol and hasn't given it back.
I mean, Thomas has probably reacquired one from the. I think we've all been raiding the armory. We probably at some point, maybe after the stream, need to sort
We
of
should
thrash out
probably,
precisely
yeah.
what we've all
What we
taken.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should keep it a secret from the DM. Okay.
Surprise! I took a grenade launcher.
Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
It was in my
Surprise, I found
left
Goliath
pant leg.
armor.
So, anyway.
Goliath armor for everyone.
Yeah, June would be like, when these are moved, we'll discuss what the money is going to.
Thomas just sends back money bag, thumbs up, winky face.
In the
June
same
texts,
thread.
"Who are you?"
In the same thread, Carter will inquire to June if all the paperwork's gone through and we are now free and clear to move about the cabin.
Hey DM, are we free and clear to?
He said
move
we
about the
could
cabin?
we could
I
go
think
about the
we can.
station.
Okay.
At the time this conversation would happen, you're probably waiting on like the bodies would have been removed, but the cargo inspector and the engineer inspectors probably haven't stopped by yet, but you've been informed that they're on their way. But your paperwork has been passed over to Quentin King, and you are free to move around Tycho Station as you will.
All right.
You
So
wouldn't have any reason to wait.
So June would tell Carter, absolutely, you can go around, but don't say anything about what we have yet. I'm still waiting on that inspection.
Hey, I'm the one that hasn't told anyone about anything that we have on board yet, ma'am.
She sends a face to him.
Oh, it's just a face. Is it the nab owl? Is that what she sends to him?
something similar.
Or pulls a face, takes a picture of it, and sends that.
Yeah, she would pull
She
a
literally
face.
takes a picture of her
She
face.
would, yeah, she would do that. She'd pull a face. Because, I mean, she and Carter have worked together for a while now anyway. But yeah, she would make a face, send it to him, and just like this deadpan look. Like that one that I do on our Discord a lot, where it's just the stare and the camera slowly moving forward.
The literal, this is my unamused face.
Yes. So, and she would say, at least we will be able to get rid of these in a legal way, and we don't have to go through the market, but or the black market.
What makes you think that?
It's fine. We won't have any like the people in this vicinity going in and out of our throats. I feel like if people in the black market know that they're just gonna come and take it, we're not gonna get paid for that. They're gonna just come and take it. So
I mean, walking down a narrow airlock towards people who they know have a lot of guns, I don't think it's going to end very well for them.
well, it's not like I'm carrying around a gun at all times pointed at the airlock. So see.
I mean, you might not be, but
I know that there
Thomas
might
and
be
Carter
people-
taking
I
shifts,
know that
guarding
there
the
might be
airlock.
people in this very text thread that might be doing that. But
I'm just picturing the scene from season 1 where Fred Johnson's trying to steal the Rossi and the PDC just swivels at the guy outside the ship.
either way,
Anyway, yes. Back on target.
Back on
All right.
target.
In that case, Carter's going out for a drink.
Is he bringing anybody, or is he just bailing?
He's saying, "Hey, I'm going out for a drink," and he just leaves it open-ended like that.
Are you going to knock on Chester's door? Because Chester's in his room reading still.
He's going to yell it as he goes down the passageway towards the airlock.
I'm going for a drink.
Chester pops his head out. Are you inviting us all along with you, or are you just letting
I'm
us
not-
know that you're leaving the ship and now we can be at peace?
I'm leaving the ship and you can be at peace, or you can come with me. I don't care. I'm not your boss.
Chester is very confused by all these mixed messages he's getting.
June says, I'm gonna be about the station. I just have to get changed first.
Chester gets up out of his bed and goes and sends a group text to everybody. So, do we all want to go grab a bite and watch Carter make a fool of himself at a bar?
Sounds like a plan.
To everyone but Carter.
Real nice.
There's always that one group message
Yeah.
All
where
right.
one person
right,
has been
GM.
excluded.
I would like to contact Alexander Mitchell.
Oh no! You don't know I said that.
You don't know I said that.
Oh boy.
You're gonna get us all killed.
Chester puts on his best pair of coveralls and waits by the airlock for everybody else who's coming down.
Nigel felt in the belt of force that Carter was leaving the ship before going for a drink and was already halfway down the ladder.
Somebody mentioned a bar.
Yeah.
Addison, is that you?
So June comes out in a pantsuit, and she's ready to go and have a great time.
Like
And-
80s style pantsuit kind of thing?
No.
Big shoulder pads.
No. It's a very tailored women's pantsuit, with a blouse underneath that is nice and flowy. She likes the flowy things.
As June comes towards you, Chester looks down at himself and goes, I think I might need to get some new clothes.
June just kind of chuckles and goes, I will help you if you would like.
As long as you... I don't want any of those dresses.
Aw, but you would look so pretty. Come on, let's go.
As Thomas passes this conversation, he's more to himself thinking, says out loud, I need to get a carryall I can hide the rifle in.
Rebecca, are you coming?
Rebecca's never leaving the ship.
Rebecca is
have to
fused
give
with the
her-
engine.
I have to give her the opportunity. I'm a nice person.
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
There's a pause. You would gather that Rebecca probably wasn't like if she probably got the message. I'm assuming it went, the message
Yeah,
or
he
whatever
sent it
went
to
to her.
everybody. Yeah.
But she's not used to actually being consulted on these things. But she just calls back up that she's fine. She'll stay put. She's got to basically get. No, they haven't been here yet. She's getting the ship ready for the inspection. It's kind of like, cleaning before the maid comes kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right.
She
Even though
wants to make a good impression.
this is my ship, please don't touch it, but tell me how pretty it is.
Yes, pretty
Yeah.
much.
Well, Chester will, upon hearing her say she's not coming, go, do you want us to bring you anything?
I mean, I'll have a list of spare parts here at some point, but
Do you want us to bring you any food? Like, that's not kibble or reprocessed? Well, I mean, it's going to be reprocessed mushrooms, but it might be better quality than what our ship does.
it's quiet for a minute. You gather Rebecca might be trying to think of the last time she actually stopped to eat, kind of thing. No, I'm good.
Okay.
Okay.
While we are out as well, June is probably going to want to stop somewhere in the computer system and see if she can look up K and any other, like, just to see if there are ties or connections to a person named K, so that maybe they can get more information as to, like, if there's a family member or other people who know who this person is, so that
Is that our bag of human?
Yes, his name is K.
That is going to do, let's see, probably an intelligence maybe not technology. What does one roll to perform a Google search?
Perception searching?
Find hidden compartments.
I think it would just be. It might just be. I think it would just be intelligence technology, because it's about knowing how to phrase your search engine, right? Your
Yeah,
Google foo.
I am open to if June has another route that she would be taking, but I'm probably intelligence technology.
Her first way of communicating is literally communication, so asking around, like, but she doesn't want a lot of people to know about this particular person.
Okay.
So yeah, she would be at a computer, but I have a 3 in communication. I don't know if there is a technological communication that I could squeeze that under.
I mean, communication should be talking to other people or convincing other people. So if you're going to be interacting with a computer, I think it's going to be intelligence and
Probably intelligence.
Well, I did see on the sheets, there is the opportunity, like if you have a focus in something and you right click on it, there is a use other ability. So this would be a place I would probably use, like if you had the technology focus.
I don't.
Okay. Then just roll a flat communication, because this is, I'm fine with, I think that June would play into her strengths here.
Oh, that's nice.
15.
Still got those rolls.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. There are results. It's kind of like if you were to punch a name into Google and just hit enter, there's lots of results. And it would take some time to filter through. But what you have the ability to do, I think the technology would stand up to this. You can basically kick like a bunch of the top results over to your personal terminal, so you can kind of flip through them at your leisure.
Okay.
So it is going to take some time, but because you're kind of pull it up and you're trying to find pictures and things like that to help identify. You're eliminating all of the ones that are obviously too old or too young or still on Mars, still on Earth, or something like that.
She probably would have also included the name of the ship as it was before. It was it the Wasp? What was it?
Pisces.
No, the Wasp was the other
Pisces.
one.
The Wasp was the one that was
Pisces, yeah.
shooting at you. Yes.
Yes.
That was
so
the
she'd-
vicious space wasp, yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So she'd also have put in Pisces just to see if that would narrow it down.
Okay. Then yeah, that would have narrowed it down quite a bit. And you will find you don't get a lot of information about who they are, but you're reasonably certain you've narrowed it down. K. Tolan, Tollen, is the last name. And there's not a lot of information about them. It would give you a couple of leads if you wanted to make some phone calls or send some messages as far as family. But it's whoever K is, they're certainly not well enough known to be well known in a search kind of thing.
Okay. She will take those things with her and meet up with the men.
I figure
wherever they're
we're all kind of going in the same place, right? As a group.
Yeah, but she would have just stopped on the way.
Chester, while we're out walking, because we weren't right on Carter's heels, Carter kind of bailed a little bit while we all got together, right? Carter.
Yes, Carter was not waiting. He was going out.
He'll send a text like, "Hey, everybody else, we all just left the ship. Where are you? We can meet up if you know a good spot here."
I think Scarlett really actually meant to contact the black market dude.
Chester,
that was a
Chester
joke.
has no idea about that.
We
Chester's
will-
trying to be friendly.
We'll swing back around to that. I figured that Carter has a little bit of time on everybody else before they catch up with him. So I
Okay.
guess on that note, Carter, as you leave the ship, what exactly is it that Carter does in trying to track down?
So Carter's not actually going to track down Alexander Mitchell. He is going to a well-known OPA hangout / bar to just physically let himself be seen. He's not famous like Anderson Dawes or Fred Johnson, but he's medium well known from his backstory there as a OPA quote politician. I don't really think that word applies to the OPA, but he's going there to hang out, have some drinks, and let himself be seen by like the local OPA guys to know that he's here, he's in the area.
Okay. With the like, is Carter's intent to be approached, or just, hey, I'm here? You know, like what exactly is Carter attempting to do by doing this?
He's trying to see if there's anyone that maybe he knows or people that know him that might be
Gotcha.
trying to make contact for whatever potential reason.
Okay. Then go ahead. This will be a communication. Let's see, what focus?
Question before we
Sure.
go to that. Would Nigel know that Carter is this particular well-to-do important belter?
Well, he's never
Being
hidden
about-
who he was or anything, so I would assume he would know who
The
he
only
is.
person who doesn't know is Chester.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So then
I would imagine.
think that Nigel probably. I would think then that Nigel would probably know where Carter's going if that's what Carter's going to do.
Okay. Well, I guess I should ask. Does Carter have what kind of communication focuses does Carter have?
I
go
have
from
leadership and persuasion.
Okay. Because I'm bouncing between etiquette and leadership as the focus.
Mhm.
We'll go with leadership. I think that'll work.
Okay.
Okay. So you head to a bar that is. I mean, this is Tycho Station. The OPA doesn't have to necessarily hide on Tycho Station. They just attempt to not be overtly obvious, because there's a lot of folks that come through. But you make your way to a bar that's generally known as being a hangout, a collection for OPA members as they come through, because the OPA is pretty fragmented for obvious reasons, and so this is kind of a known place to come where members of various organizations can sort of, if they want to, compare notes, meet, without having to make special arrangements to make those meetings. Not difficult to do. You make your way in, kind of look around. You recognize a couple of people, at least by reputation. They acknowledge you, you acknowledge them, but they don't immediately move to make contact with you while you move to the bar to order a drink. Music is playing. It's just loud enough that it would be very difficult for people to overhear conversations, but not so loud that it's impossible to have a conversation without shouting at each other. Exactly the kind of place you go to have conversations where you don't want to be overheard.
Yeah, so he just kind of slides up to the bar because he assumes that Nigel is coming to jump on his tab for drinks for the night, and probably dragging the rest of the crew with them. So he's just waiting at the bar, and literally going to have a drink, and whatever else happens. He wasn't going. He's not trying to meet any particular person. Just kind of put it out that he's on station.
Gotcha. I'm here. I'm looking to see who else is here. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Easy enough. So time does pass. Nigel, if you're attempting to guide the group, but then Chester does send a message. So Carter, you get the hey, where you at? You've probably been at the bar for 10-15 minutes at this point.
I send back that I'm at the bottom of my second glass. Where are you guys at?
Chester looks at the rest of the group. Says he's started his libations without us. I'm not sure if he wants company. He didn't tell me where he was. I think he looks down and texts back, "Do you want us to join you, or should we just go grab a bite to eat somewhere else?"
I said I was going out. You guys, if you guys want to come here, that's fine. And he sends them what was it from Police Academy, the Blue Oyster Club.
Is that what it is?
I'm at the Blue Oyster Club on level 6.
Chester's like, what's an oyster?
It's an earth delicacy.
June, what's an oyster?
It's a seafood. You probably wouldn't like it. I think they're gross.
Okay. Well, he's at the Blue Oyster Club. Do we want to head over there?
I don't think I would be. I don't think I'm going. I think I'm going somewhere else.
Does she know this bar?
She knows that it is an OPA hangout, and as most of the OPA are
That's right.
very
Everybody else has been to Tycho before. I have too, but I don't know anything about it.
Well, June has not been to Tycho, but she knows of this place because of her. She's trying to know Belters better.
You've all been through, because this is actually the last place that
this is where we were.
The Shakespeare put in.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought I mentioned earlier that I didn't know the ins and outs of Tycho to the...
Yeah, but like a ship the size of the Shakespeare, if you didn't want to leave when it was in port, you certainly didn't have to. So just
I feel like
because
June would want
the
to,
Shakespeare
though.
has docked here doesn't mean that you know every nook and cranny and corridor.
I know a hostel on level 4B, and I know that the passenger terminal. That's about it. Oh, and there's a noodle place in the passenger terminal. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
Well, so she knows of this place either way because she's been trying to make sure Belter and Earther are okay in, at least in her book. And she knows that if she and Earther shows up at an OPA hangout, that it probably won't be the best of times for her, and so she would rather go somewhere to actually have fun.
Great. Now I'm the guy that's trying to bring everybody together and people that want to go together. This is wonderful.
I mean, split the adage of never split the party it's not as big of a deal
I know.
in the Expanse.
That's literally not what I'm worried about.
Okay.
Chester is feeling like an outsider, is trying to make the crew feel like one crew so he can feel like he's a part of it, is kind of what he's doing.
Gotcha.
And they're like, why would we do that?
Well, June didn't say anything in particular. She just kind of went, The Blue Oyster Club is a well-known hangout for the OPA, right, Nigel? Is Nigel with us still?
Nigel just nods his head, looking at the crowd.
Yeah. So, as I'm not going to assume anything per se, but in my experience, people who operate with the OPA don't usually have the best view of people of my type, if you understand.
Yeah, Thomas, should maybe we go hang with June, or should we go be visible in an OPA bar with our Belter friends? I know this noodle place in the passenger terminal.
I don't mind going if all of you will be with me. I just really don't want to go if it's just one or two of us.
I mean, I can always see what their Shirley temples are like. Chester being 15th generation Martian Baptist, doesn't drink.
Thomas is probably going to
In
come
public.
along, but he's going to probably spend most of his time going through possible adverts for work, because we are going to need to make an income.
Thomas, the only sensible one among all of us.
That's a dangerous thing to say.
Yeah. Chester sends a text back going, we might not stay long, but we'll come and we'll share around together and then figure out where we go from there.
Okay.
No, all lowercase, no period, nothing, just okay. So we make our way to the Blue Oyster Club.
And I think that's probably going to be a pretty good place to wrap up the session as you make your way in.
Oh, you don't want to keep going to the imminent bar fight?
I mean, we can, but I feel like that might be a more
yeah.
exciting way to start the next session.
Yes.
So we'll pick up next time as you guys arrive. Then we will go from there.
All right.
It killed me to that you're like Thomas, the only sensible one, because I'm looking at my notes right now, and I have a note going for personalities, right? And I have Thomas likes being flashy, likes his rifles, and then underneath that it says friggin' weirdo about it.
I just meant in that moment because we should all be thinking about the future, but Chester just wants to fit in, and he wants to feel like a people person.
It is worth noting that if you were to shift 90 to 95% of the air quote salvaged cargo and machine parts that you've declared you have on board, I mean that would be, for a lot of people, especially in the belt, that's the score. That's the, even divvied up amongst all of you, it would be the finances that you essentially would be set for life. If sold to the right people for the right amount, it's that, like, you very much have the treasure hoard on your ship. So it could be that if you sell all of that, you wouldn't, finances would be much less of a concern than they ever have been before.
Yeah.
So it probably wouldn't pay off the ship, but it would also go a very, very long way towards, like, if a substantial portion of that was transferred over to the captain, that it would go a long way towards, getting the ship paid for as well, depending on how you guys want to deal with your finances. It's a substantial amount of resources that you have at your disposal.
Okay. Well, cool. So the camera pans out on our motley crew as we walk through the curved hallways of Tycho Station. In the distance, the faint red glow of the sign of the Blue Oyster Club. Yes, I said red.
I figured it would have been purple, T.
No, they're belters. It's always red. No, wait, no. Because that would be Mars, huh? Whatever. It's
Martian.
red. No, it's red. They've got an ironic sense of humor. As Chester walks forward, hesitantly leading. Well, actually, Nigel plows forward. Chester following, with June and Thomas kind of tagging along behind. Thomas looking at his. I'm guessing you're looking for jobs on your tablet, and June looking kind of. I don't know about this. And Chester just kind of looking like, I'm on an adventure.
Nigel's just upset that he's missed 3 rounds already.
Jeez, Carter.
Yep.
We're going to get there. Carter's going to be hammered. All right,
Just
everybody.
go in there to make sure Carter doesn't make any more trouble.
Oh, do I got to get hammered before the next session?